you had to put the link into the stream, and then you had to hit the go live to the stream. If that makes sense.
Here we go.
I got a notification saying the Kramer Jackman show is now live.
I just got a notification.
I'll like that, and I'll grab this button to share the copy of the link.
I don't think I have the bell checked for the night link.
You got to put the bell on there, man. All about the notifications. It's all about the notifications. Hi.
They're saying get the stream key off the.
Who's saying
I don't
this?
even know what that means. I don't know what that means. I don't
The
know.
stream key's locked, so you can't really see it.
Okay. Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about.
I can try to. Let me do this. Let me put up a. Oh, I got this. You're gonna see my screen.
Don't put up any.
I don't have anything like that. Come on now. Or do I? Dun, dun, dun. No, I don't. I know exactly what I'm doing, boys. There we go. Now we're looking a little more professional. Oh, this is great. All right. If they join, they join. If they don't, they don't. Oh, well. All right, let's start this bad boy in 3, 2, and 1. Welcome into the Kramer Jackman Show. Yes, we're live here on this Saturday. It's roughly 4:10 in the Central Time Zone where I'm located at. And today joining me is the one and only, the best linebacker in the league, outside linebacker into the league, is Adam Wiseman. And now joining me as well is the best coach in the league. He's coming back at retirement. The one and only Jeremy Vega. Guys, how are you doing here on this Saturday?
Doing well. How are you doing, Craig?
Yeah, I can't complain. Jeremy?
I'm doing good. It's a nice day out here in Colorado, and just enjoying the off-season before things get rolling in 2 months.
Yeah, it's supposed to start storming here in Kansas City at some point later on today. And yeah, it's gonna suck. I wish I was out there in Colorado and chilling enjoying the nice air out there as well. Looks like it's so far in our chat so far is Ethan Kai. But before we get to anything outside the normalism of the SFL, what are you guys' thoughts going on so far with the Denver Night Weeks and how they're set up towards this, I guess, for this upcoming season? Because personally, as a general manager, I like hearing input, especially from you, Jeremy, because, I mean, I feel like I work directly under you, and I want to also always impress you in my things. But right now, I feel like we're doing good.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're doing really good. We retained majority of our players. Lost a few. We'll be all right in those departments, and I think the biggest thing is we kept all of our biggest pieces, like, once again, and just ready to add a bunch of new rookies and get going. So I think we're going to be very competitive.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to echo that. I think the biggest thing for us was just keeping what we have. For the most part, we did that, and then build on that. I think, signing Barry is a great pickup for us, and I think he's going to do really well in that strong safety spot. And then bring it back to play alongside me. That going to work out for a few weeks at least.
I'll tell you one thing. I liked when we were talking with Barry during the contract stuff, the negotiations, and talking to him. He said that his triple B, I mean, why can't he be B cubed?
What's BQ?
B cubed isn't cubed with the power to the 3, right? Because B squared is...
Oh.
Because, I mean, he likes to be triple B. I wonder what his middle name is.
I don't know.
That's something we need to figure out. All I know is he hits
Barry
bombs.
Brent.
Well, he hasn't hit a bomb yet that you guys seen. By the way, have you guys seen that the new episode of the Super Mega Baseball, the Night Wings edition?
I have.
I did watch it today while I was at work.
So you saw McChesney get beamed.
R.I.P. Yeah, R.I.P.
Yeah,
Jared.
Jared got. All right, so listen to this. Jared is the pitcher because he didn't reply back what he wanted to be, and through through 3 pitches, and the fourth pitch, the batter lines it directly, hit him in the head. So it came out of nowhere. I thought it was great, but yeah, that's our little Super Mega Baseball 3 stuff going on. But going back to the Nightwing stuff, I think from my viewpoint and vantage point, what we have going so far, I'm not going to give all my cards out, but I am actually excited for this draft. Like, I feel like we can get a good group of core people in this year's draft that I believe could stay with us for a bit. Yeah, I know we lost Al Lewis last in this, but I'm so glad he's actually on a team rather than some people that have been were released and they're out of the league. But I'm glad to see him further on to his career, his SFL career, and also I'm so happy that we kept pretty much everybody because this time last year, Jeremy and I were just like squandering around trying to figure out, okay, we need to add this person, or we need to keep drafting a lot of people because last year we were hurting. If you guys want to add on to that or not.
Sorry, I couldn't tell if you cut in or out, but I mean, yeah, I think that I think we're in a really good position because we only need 3 more rookies in the draft, and then we get the 3 supplemental guys, and we're hoping that we can get them all at the positions we want. I think we have a good chance of that, and then I think those 6 players are really going to round out like the core of our team. But yeah, I mean, we only had 1 free agent, which is I think new. I think that's the least we've ever added in an off season. But I mean, Barry, like Adam said, is going to fit in great. So I'm just excited for it. I'm really happy with it. I think you've done a good job with that, and I think that we're going to be in a good position to really compete.
Yeah, I think last year, I mean, we basically had to the entire defense. Only me and Josh were on that defense from season 13. And offensively, we only had to replace 1 on the offensive side. So, yeah, I mean, replacing a whole defense, a championship winning defense is it's a lot of work, and I think we've got a very strong core there now. That's, we'll add to it this in the draft, and be looking really good for season 15.
Yeah, I'm ready for season 15. It's like I hate how long we've been waiting. Like I feel like we've been waiting for about 2 months now, which I think it actually might be 2 months since our last game. And it seems like it's been going so slow. It's actually very annoying.
Yeah, on one hand, it feels like it's just dragging, and we still have like 2 months until week 1. But on the other hand, I am enjoying the off season because we've pretty much got everything in place now, and we could just get.
I don't really know this off season that you guys are talking about.
Coach Adam, yeah.
There is no off season for me right now, which I love that about the SFL because it does give us something in the off season, at least football wise. Even if I wasn't coaching, I think I would still be tuning into a lot of the SFLM games just to, get that football fix.
Yeah, see, I'm not gonna lie. I've got my short list of people I've been looking at. Hopefully that are there when we're in our draft. And I only watch those games. I only watch the players. I may not tune into like, okay, they're winning, they're losing. I do tune in as often as I can to watch your team play, Adam, because of course you're part of the Night Wings. And I want to keep supporting you in whatever you do. And it's just like there's some games that's like, okay, that's interesting. Some are like, there's nobody I need to watch, so I'm not going to watch this game.
Yeah, I think the minors it's been really fun for all the new players. But I'm kind of with you on that. I mean, it's the off season for a pro team, So we're just kind of using that to build our roster. And if we're not building our roster, we're just kind of relaxing. But yeah, I mean, definitely always tuning into Adam's games, supporting the Fuel, and I think I think Adam's doing a great job as a coach. I mean, his team's 1-2, I think. I don't know what week.
1-3.
1-3. Yeah, so about halfway, and they're 1-3, but they've been competitive.
Yeah, you guys have been very
so
competitive.
It's nice to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I think bad break last week with the kick return TD, which nothing you can do about that. The first week I just had a bad game plan, and I'll admit I screwed up on that game. But the first week it's a crapshoot because you have no clue what your opponent's going to look like. So
It's just like throwing
that
crap
one
at a wall and hopefully it sticks.
Yeah, I mean, I had no clue what Ottawa was going to look like week one. It's tough to kind of game plan for a team when you have no clue what they're going to.
We have a question from Ethan Kai. Says, how do you guys feel about Adam Wiseman? How's he doing as a head coach in the SFLM? Honestly, I think he's terrible. I think he's the worst coach out there. I'm joking. Adam, you're actually doing really good. Your games are just so close. That's why I enjoy it. But you need to get on the winning end of things. That's the thing.
Yeah,
it takes time.
Hopefully I've tweaked it enough that we'll start winning some games here this season and maybe sneak into the playoffs. And once you're in the playoffs, anything can happen.
Yeah, Scott Stoverian says on here, says you ran into a steamroller, Adam, and not your fault. LOL. By the way, if during this podcast or whatever you want to call it, this show, you can always ask us questions. We'll answer them to the best of full ability. But I think anything else you guys want to cover about the SFL until we move on to the not greener pastures, to other pastures? Oh, no, wait, I have something popped in my mind. If you haven't seen the teaser to our thing we're making, you have to watch that. Have you seen the teaser yet, Adam?
Yeah, that looks awesome. I can't wait until that comes out.
You don't understand.
That looks like that's just.
I've accumulated a lot of footage, and it's going to be A1. I hope it's going to turn out great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm super excited. I mean, I only get I wasn't here for season 12, so I'll be learning a lot more about kind of how that season went for you guys. I watched a few games in that season, and before I signed in season 13. But yeah, I think that's just it's gonna be really cool just for anybody who wants to just learn more about the SFL. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for it. I can't wait to see what Kramer comes up with putting it together. Yeah, I'm so excited for it. Like Kramer said, if you haven't seen the trailer, it's on our Twitter, Instagram, it's on YouTube page.
We have an Instagram.
Make sure you like, subscribe.
Good. I didn't know we had an Instagram. Do I follow that?
Yeah. I don't really know who follows it. That's our least used. I mean, I post regularly on it, but it's not as big as our Twitter is right now.
All I know is when I was listening to the music on that, so whatever that website was that we're pulling music off of, there was this one that I got a big grin because whatever this song's perfect for our defense. So when we get to the defense portion of this thing, and it's just, I'm so happy for it, and I can't wait till I need to get work onto it, but I also need to start doing interviews at some point, which might be next week. And of course, you two are slated for me to interview you guys. So just stay tuned or keep your schedule, I guess, open. I guess I don't know. There's something if you have to work, of course I always work around the schedules. But Scott Stover asked us opinion on retired players coming back after being not being here. Honestly, if they want to come back, then they come back. But I personally feel like it's taking away from all these rookies who have been staying here or trying to work their way up into being progressed-wise or being seen. But there's also rookies that are also here that it's SFL and they haven't done anything. So, I mean, it gives or take. I personally don't mind it or don't like it. I don't know. I'm optimistic about it.
I mean, hey, great for Portland. They got a quarterback who's a base gold, and I can't really harm him for going after a guy like Matt South. That's better than anything you're going to get in the draft. But it's tough for me to sit there and go, that guy hasn't been around since what, season 9, and that he doesn't have to, kind of re-go through like the draft process or get his player reset because he's been gone for so long. I think that just it's taking an opportunity away from somebody who's been putting in work for the last however long to check in and play quarterback in the SFL.
Jeremy, your thoughts?
I mean, yeah, I'm just glad to see, people filling out rosters. I don't really have an opinion on on people coming out of retirement. It's really, my opinion is more about where the signings. Some of them have been a surprise. Some guys coming out that I didn't think would come back out, like Reggie Streeter,
Yeah,
or like Levant Irvine today, or like kind of just now waiting for some of those Seattle New Orleans players to start coming back out of retirement. This league is addicting. I mean, it's hard to stay away.
Streeter didn't surprise me.
I guess I'm more surprised he left than coming back.
Once Jeff got hired in Louisiana, I figured Streeter was coming back.
With Matt South, or even with all these other guys coming into retirement that haven't been there for a while, that I feel like there at least needs to be, I guess, a knocking, like maybe lose a few points off of your thing, because you got to think, if you want to put a realism aspect, say Tom Brady retired and then he waited 5 years to come back. He's not going to pick up where he left off 5 years ago. He's not going to. So, I mean, I could see how a regression for him, he has to build his stuff back up, might need to be in order for some of these guys, but, I mean, it's not like that's going to go through anything to have to pass that.
Yeah, it's an interesting idea. Maybe like if you take a season off, you drop a tier. If it's 2 seasons, you drop 2 tiers until you're all the way back at like base copper, base bronze. But it's an interesting idea. I don't know. I mean, there's 22 franchises, have to vote on rules, so it's really hard to get all of us on at the time on the same page. Sorry.
No, I like that. Like if you're, there's not really a max gold, but there is. But let's say you're above base gold. You take a season off, you go down to base gold. 2 seasons you're down to max silver. 3 seasons base silver, and then maybe cap it at base bronze or max bronze, so that if those players do come back, they were part of the league, so they don't lose everything and have to start all over.
Yeah, I don't see why you wouldn't want to start all over, because that'd just be terrible. But
I don't.
You at least got to take something.
I don't think people would come back.
No.
At that point, they might as well just create a new player.
Rosca Santagria, he asked, what's pass rush and run coverage? Those are some cornerback stats I don't know, and I'm interested in learning what they mean so I can improve my player. I am not a defensive guy, so I'm assuming, well, if you guys know the correct way to answer this question, go for it.
I mean, I can give it a shot.
Yeah, go for it. I'm a kicker, so I wouldn't know.
As a cornerback, you're probably not going to be pass rush. I mean, teams it's very seldom do you see teams blitz a cornerback in the SFL. And run coverage, again, it's just more about how you play the run. That might be a little bit more important depending and kind of who you sign with or who drafts you, depending on how they want to play. If you're playing nickel, it might not be first year, but as you build your player, that might be one of the last stats that you build in. That's just kind of my on it. I don't know if Jeremy has anything better.
No, I mean, you pretty much explained it pretty well. I mean, pass rush for a cornerback is not needed at all. Rookies or anyone making a player should not worry about putting pass rush on your cornerback. Run coverage, is good. I think run coverage is worth boosting up, but maybe towards the end after you've gotten your speed, your coverage, your jumping, your consistency up, your tackling up, then maybe get your run coverage if you're still looking for attributes to improve. But run coverage is important because teams will run against nickel formations, so you will need it. But I don't think it's one of the more important ones for a cornerback. But I think it's definitely needed as far as like what attributes should you have maxed out before you start adding animations onto your player, which is kind of another.
I feel like it depending on what team wants you. That's the best thing, I guess. You'd have to talk with your team that you're drafted to. We have the Bash brothers are in here, Craven and Doug Day. Doug was like 4 new expansion teams for next season. Is that a possibility? I think 4 is too many.
I thought they already said we're only getting 2 more next season.
Yeah, that's good though. That's perfect because I feel like more people are going to keep on joining, and there's going to be those less. There's a lot of surplus in the SFLM. There really is.
Well, and you can always reduce roster. So you could go from 20 because essentially you've got 17 salary cap spots and 3 spots in essence. So you could always drop those 3 spots off. Those 22 teams. That's 66 players there. New team.
I just know there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people in SFLM.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about expansion for the future, but that doesn't mean it's. I mean, obviously, every season there's an opportunity or possibility for an expansion because we're just growing and growing now, and it's probably only going to continue to get bigger. So,
see, I thought when they announced expansion for season 15, they also said 2 for season 16. Maybe I'm wrong on that.
See, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
So yeah, keep on asking questions away over in the comments section. But has anybody partaked in watching any type of live sports recently? Starting from last week, I know there's tomorrow we have NASCAR on actual television. Korean baseball I've been watching as much as I can since I'm a huge baseball nerd. But fights last week, fights this week. Have you guys been watching any of that stuff?
Yeah, I watched some of the U.S. last weekend. Catching as much Korean baseball as I can. This week I didn't work overnights, but when I've been working overnights, it's nice, at 5:30 in the morning to
you can watch the game live.
Turn at least a few innings before I go home. Korean baseball. I watched a little bit of the Bundesliga today.
Oh, that's right. Soccer did start. Well, football.
So yeah, I've been trying to catch. I'm so hurt for live sports. That's primarily what I watch when I'm home. So I'll watch anything at this point. I was even watching cornhole like today. It's like that. You got a problem when you're watching that stuff.
I don't watch TV. I don't watch TV. I don't follow any sports other than
damn it, Jeremy.
Basketball, NFL, SFL. So I've kind of just been regulated to.
Jeremy, you are one of the most interesting men in the world. So you.
Oh, I get
that. There's a lot of stuff that's like maybe like you're a guy that doesn't like Star Wars, which it baffles me. And now you just don't watch TV in general. Like, when was the last show you've watched? Like, legit show.
On TV or
anything.
Watching a show on Netflix or something?
TV. Yeah, stay away from the streaming providers because that's still TV technically.
So as far as actual television, yeah. I haven't had actual television in over 10 years.
So you don't have YouTube TV or
No, I have. I watch YouTube when I'm bored, but I have Netflix, and recently I started using my roommate's Fire Stick, and I started rewatching Lost because it's my favorite show of all time. But yeah, that's about it. I've been using it to watch the Michael Jordan documentary, but yeah, I really don't watch TV.
See, that's
I haven't
TV though.
had
That's the
TV.
Michael Jordan documentary is TV. Which, by
Yeah,
the
I
way,
mean, like
that
when I
documentary is amazing.
yeah, when I say TV, I mean like you turn on your television and you have like cable and you can flip through all the channels and like pick whatever you want to watch. That type of television I haven't had in 10 plus years. I've only ever had Netflix or like YouTube on my phone or computer. And then most recently just started using that Fire Stick, like I said. Which I guess Fire Stick is like a Fire Stick TV. It's got a lot of TV stuff on it. Like you can watch ESPN. Uh, that's how I've been watching the Jordan thing. Or it's got like free TV shows, which Lost happens to be free on there. So, but yeah. Other than that,
I think a show that you would like is Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
I actually do not like that.
Oh my
I
God.
gave it a try and just
Have you watched it, Adam?
Yeah, I watched off and on.
See, I'm a huge fan of it. I'm a huge fan. But we did. You mentioned Michael Jordan documentary, Jeremy. So for my cognizant life of watching sports, this was something that I wish I was able to remember as a young chap. But I wasn't. Do any of you? I know I'm 23 years old. I'm fairly young compared to you guys. I'm not saying that you guys are old. I'm just saying you're older than me. Do you guys remember this? Like watching this in person, like skipping through the television as a young age?
Yeah, I mean, I'm 34 years old, so this is my heyday, basically. I don't remember the early years of Jordan. Um, I really kind of forget about that first championship, but I remember the second and third, and then obviously second three-peat pretty well. I'm really dreading it gets into the what was that, the 98 conference finals when it's Pacers against the Bulls, and the Pacers lost.
Oh, yeah, you're a Pacers fan, aren't you?
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm really dreading these last couple. So that was probably the best I had. And, we have to run into Michael Jordan.
that I can see how that's rough. And Jeremy, you're 29, right?
yeah, 29.
Do you remember any of like the tail end of it then?
No, because I mean, I like as a kid, I only watched, and I really didn't get into basketball until like I don't know, like I mean, it was like early days of his NBA career. So like my NBA following isn't that long, but I like about I've heard the stories and all. He's just like an icon, so you've obviously heard about him. But yeah, I never watched any of the championships. Didn't really follow him out to the Space Jam. So
because I mean, '96 when I was born, that's when they won their fourth championship. So it's like I missed all of that. So like when I was 3 years old, I still don't remember that shit. I don't. I can't. I wish I did. And I like talking to people that have witnessed it and I mean I guess watched it. But yeah, that's something I wish I could have experienced it myself. But I got to experience the damn Golden State Warriors, which by the way, I think with the Golden State Warriors team that just won their most recent one would still lose to Jordan's. I want to say it's the I don't know if it'd be the first one that they could beat him with, possibly the one with Horace Grant on the team. But I know for a fact with Dennis Rodman on the team, they can beat the Warriors at least probably about 4-1 the series.
It depends on what rules you go by. If we're playing with the rules that the early Bulls played, where basically you could hack the shit out of everybody, that early Bulls team would destroy the Warriors.
yeah, go ahead.
Horace Grant is very underrated for how good, and that's when they struggled, came back. That they didn't have, big time power. Tony Kukoc there, who was just too soft, and that's why they went.
What were you gonna say there, Jeremy?
I don't know like a lot about basketball. I don't even pretend to. But I mean, it's really tough to tell because like the Bulls, like the Warriors is like they're just so much smaller than the Bulls, but like they're just so much more athletic and they're just so much better perimeter shooting and passing than the Bulls are. But I mean, it's the Bulls are just physical and they got a lot of talent too. So I mean, if I was gonna put my money on a team, probably before watching this documentary would have said Warriors, but now that I've been watching the documentary, would probably say Bulls. But it's still a tough call because I mean the Warriors, like Kevin Durant Warriors, it's insane.
Yeah, there's
Just
so
the
much
talent,
talent
the
there.
shooting talent. It's just insane.
And see, like I always hate looking on Twitter or social medias or whatever, and everybody is like, "Oh, getting ready to watch the Jordan documentary series," even though I know for a fact that LeBron James is the best basketball player of all time. And I'm like, I wouldn't even say that. I'm not a pro LeBron or pro Jordan, but Jordan did have stints. All of his stints, even after post. Yeah, I know he went to the baseball, came back, they lost that series. He's still when he gets when his mind is set on something, he will achieve it no matter what or how long or how hard it takes. But I feel like with LeBron James he's just there because yeah, he may take his team to the championship, but he doesn't have that finesse or he has to be around 4 or 5 All-Stars in order to help him get a ring. Because even with those Miami Heat days, you need a big three. You need a big three to win a championship, and we saw that when Jordan had their big three. If you want to say Pippen and Horace, or you can go Pippen and Rodman, but they also had more guys or shooters around. You see that Miami team? They had a very good defense set around those big three guys. If you want to go with Udonis Haslem, you got Birdman. It doesn't matter. They just needed more people around LeBron in order to get him some rings, which I hate that. And even when somebody even said on Twitter, like, "Oh, I'm getting tired of everybody saying that the person I'd want with the final shot in the final seconds is LeBron James because he has 7 of the 5. He has 2 more game-winning shots in crucial crunch time in the playoffs than Michael Jordan." But then I looked at his stats. LeBron James has played in 217 playoff games. Jordan's played in like 170. So, I mean, of course he's going to have a better stat outlook because he's played in more playoff games. So, like, I hate that big comparison of LeBron to Jordan because Jordan's clearly the better player long term and for everything. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I mean, I'm a Jordan guy. I think Jordan, what Jordan had to go through going through the Pistons that made him the player that he became as, Bulls. I mean, granted, Jordan had Scottie Pippen, he had Horace Grant, he's had Dennis Rodman, Tony Kukoc. Like, he's had really good players around him. But Jordan's will to win, and I think you're seeing in this documentary, is just unbelievable. And I don't think LeBron has that same win. And that's kind of why I would take Jordan.
Yeah, the way I look at it is I look at it weird, in a weird way. I think Michael Jordan is the greatest NBA player of all time, and like what that statement encompasses is like his drive to win, just everything that Michael Jordan ever did in the NBA championships, accolade, his talent, all of that. I think he's just the greatest NBA player to ever play. But I think LeBron James is the greatest basketball player to ever play the game, just based off of LeBron James' talent. I think he's the greatest to ever play basketball. And it's the same way I look at it. Like Tom Brady is the greatest player to ever play in the NFL, but Aaron Rodgers is the greatest player to ever play football, just based off of his ability and his talent. So I look at it 2 different ways. Like Aaron Rodgers doesn't have the accolades and the accomplishments that Brady did, and what Brady was able to accomplish and the things he does for his team and all that. I think that makes him the great football player in the NFL. But I just think that Aaron Rodgers, from a talent standpoint, is just the greatest player to ever play football. And that's how I look at the LeBron and Jordan thing. I think the greatest NBA player, and Jordan's, in my opinion, is probably the second greatest NBA, or the second greatest basketball player of all time, or the second person to ever play basketball. But I just think LeBron James, while he'll never accomplish what Jordan is, I think LeBron James is just the greatest person to ever play basketball.
And,
So that's just how I usually look at it.
and
Yes.
it's almost as if you want to like say, all right, I'm going to pluck Michael Jordan and put him in today's basketball like era of basketball, or say I'm going to pluck LeBron James, putting him into the Jordan era. Of course, LeBron and or Michael will adapt, but it depending on how well or successful adapt. I wish you could actually like run a simulation of like, okay, I'm going to put all this in there, boom, and that. Because honestly, I feel like the biggest difference of why everybody's trying to compare and contrast or saying, oh, it's different eras, you got to look at the referees because they were allowing anything and everything to go back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and approaching probably about 2005. We've seen a difference of playing in the game and the more fouls being called, and it's just I feel like the tic-tacky fouls have came more in I guess this era in the past 15 years of playing basketball. I feel like that's what we've seen more, and I feel like honestly the referees are the big reasons for all this.
Yeah. So look at the scores when they put up the scores of the games in this Jordan documentary. Like, if they broke 90 points, that was high score. And that's more due to the fact that they just didn't call fouls. So you could really, hand check, freedom of movement, which is something they've used in basketball, at least in college basketball, to talk about how they're calling things. That wasn't a thing in the NBA in the 90s. And now I think the NBA made a conscious decision to get more scoring, and that's why you see there's a lot of fouls called.
Mm-hmm.
It isn't is because they want to see high scoring games.
Right. And it's a shootout from here on out. It seems like, and I think the one of the teams that helped with that shootout and what changed the game of basketball is Steph Curry. I think that's why we've seen more people go, okay, we're going to pull up and shoot and boom threes. That's what we're going to do. We're going to rain threes.
That, and then the early 2000s, you had like the Pistons, that was almost unwatchable. It was so bad offensively.
Oh yeah,
those teams, because they were two just defensive teams. That I think that's when the NBA made a conscious decision to be like this. We got to get a better product there, entertaining product, I should say.
Yeah, I also think that it's just the natural evolution of the game of basketball that kind of helped the NBA transition into a scoring league. Just because at first it was like interior and not really athletic play, and then it eventually moved to athletic play, but it was not a lot of shooting. It was more driving and passing and dunking. And then I think now you just see there's just so many shooters that are getting really good, and then now I think that the NBA just has all of those phases. I think, like with Adam said, I think the NBA have a strong influence on the way the game plays now. I think they're just trying to get more scoring out there. But here's an interesting take on the whole Jordan now or LeBron then. I think if LeBron James goes and plays back in the Jordan era, I think LeBron James is not the best player in the NBA, but I think LeBron James is still a top 5 player. He's just like, can you imagine like his size back in the day and his athleticism? People like to say that it's much more physical back then and he wouldn't survive, but like LeBron James would be like the size of all the power forwards and centers, just super athletic. Like I don't think he'd be the best player, but I think he'd still be a top 5 player. And I think if you brought Jordan into today's game, I think Jordan wouldn't be the best player, but I think Jordan would be a top 5 player still.
Yeah, LeBron is almost built to be able to handle that contact back in the early 90s.
Yeah, and if LeBron came up in that environment, my God, he would just be he'd be his size, but just twice as physical, because that's the type of basketball he would have grown up playing. So that's just my take on it.
So he would have adapted. I think he would have.
Yeah, I think LeBron would have been. LeBron would have been a better play back in the early 90s than now.
Oh yeah, he'd have been hardened.
Well, and that's the thing. That's why I think Kobe Bryant was so good. Even though that, yeah, Kobe Bryant, is notorious ball hog is what everybody's gonna say. He didn't want to pass it up. I mean, they even addressed that in the documentary, which I thought was pretty funny. But I just feel like that's why I feel like Kobe Bryant adapted. And granted, he was drafted in '96, right? 96, 97, or 98. One of the big drafts class. But I just feel like that's why I can see that those three. It's kind of like a it's weird because LeBron was drafted in 2003. It's kind of weird to see like a passing of the torch between Jordan to Kobe to LeBron. But it's good that at least the eras of basketball, there was at least one spotlighted or highlighted player that we've seen shine, which I do enjoy that aspect of it. Because I'm trying to think, who was the before Jordan? It was Bird and Johnson, right?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah. So it would've been
and those
before
guys
that.
kind of passed the torch over.
Yeah. Before that, you probably go Kareem.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of go back. You have Kareem.
I can't think who else. Bill Russell, maybe? Was he in that prime, or is that too early?
Bill Russell would have been 12, I think.
I don't know. That's too far in my
Yeah, I mean that's going back to when parents were kids.
Yeah. Yep. So anything else you guys want to talk about before we wrap this bad boy up? Anything that comes to your mind?
Thank you everyone who tuned in and anyone who's still watching. We don't really have a purpose to most of our shows. We just
kind of rant and talk.
Hang out, yeah.
I do want to pose a question. Where's Johnny Pickler going?
I don't know. I don't even know if Johnny's still in the chat, but I think Johnny Pickler's definitely going to Louisiana.
I agree with Jeremy.
I think he's going back to St. Louis. That's just me. I think
I don't think there's a shot in hell he's going back to St. Louis.
Okay, yeah,
you're
right.
When Gerald got Louisiana, I said it in general chat. If Johnny's smart, he follows to Louisiana.
See, I kind of put the aspect of it on one of the Kramer shows. It was like, Gerald wants his guy, and his guy from last season was, Johnny Pickler. So I can see Louisiana. I would like for him to go back to St. Louis, but man, I feel bad for all the people in St. Louis.
I would like Pickler to take a visit to Denver. Just hang out.
Oh, no, we can't say that because then we don't want Josh to be like,
No, Josh is our quarterback.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
Denver's a great place. Just come take a visit.
All I know is I need a placeholder, and I feel like he'd be perfect for it.
Just have Pickler as a backup and Gritty Josh's replacement. Josh.
Yeah, I mean Miller's kind of flirted with the idea of retirement here and there, and I know me and Kramer have been big fans of Pickler, and if Miller ever hangs up his cleats, I know who we're calling first.
Yeah, we can even. I'll just put that out there right now. We've had conversations because I mean, of course, he broke the news to me. Like we actually had a phone call, and he said, "Hey, I want you to be the guy that does it first, because I mean, I do enjoy what you do as a media personality, and I respect all your stuff." Like, which was perfect. Like I don't need all those compliments, but I thank you once again. If you're listening still, I'm not sure, is he in the chat still? Yeah, he might be. But he was like, "Yeah, I'm doing this." I'm like, "Okay, cool." I'm trying to think where I was getting to that point. Oh yeah, I even said, I mean, if you would have waited another season or two, I know for it, because I mean, Josh Miller's flirted around with it. We've had conversations with him behind closed doors. Like, hey, honestly, we would have offered a visit if we didn't get Josh back. Like, we just said, "Hey, come on over here. We'll explain to you why the Denver way is the best way."
I would have flown out to Pickler's house and wherever he lives in real life. Paid him a visit like college coach recruit.
But I'm only 3 hours away. I would have driven up there to be part of the pitch.
We would have pitched
But I was hard on Pickler when he first came into the league. I love him now. I love everything he did in St. Louis. Look forward to seeing kind of how he's going to go about announcing this, or maybe giving hints one way or the other without announcing it. I think he's been great for the league.
I do want to point out, that maybe 3 days ago or 4 days ago, I messaged him. I think it was 3 days ago. I was like, "Hey, where you going?" He's like, "I don't even know yet." I'm like, okay, well at least you know that he does not know where he's going still.
I'm sure it's a tough decision. It's a big one.
Oh,
I
it's
mean,
huge.
nobody wants to like pick a new team after one season and then have to leave that team after 1 or 2 seasons. I know he's looking and he's announced that he's going to give his all to whatever team he ends up, which means he's going to be there for a while. So that's I'm sure it's not an easy decision to make.
No, but
No,
at
I
least we know
think
he's not going to Portland because I thought Portland they tweeted out saying they're going to have Johnny come for a visit, and I think they signed a quarterback before that visit happened.
yeah, right. I think when South came back like a day or two,
Which, by the way, perfect
free
for
agency
Portland.
went. Yeah, I would have been shocked if Pickler. Uh, but I think that drew interest from some people to go to Portland. So it probably worked out. Yeah, I think Atlanta's an interesting team in all of this,
Oh yeah,
just simply because of what they've got there. I mean, Pickler can go there and be the next 4, 5, 6 seasons.
yeah, that team is set.
And they could do really, really well. So, uh, that's the interesting one. I just don't see him leaving Gerald, and I think Gerald, is pushing probably pretty hard.
Yeah, the one reason I don't think he goes to Atlanta is because that's what he's going to be. He's going to be the next Marcus. Nobody wants to be the next guy. They want to
No.
be themselves. And then there's always the ring chasing comments and all that. And I think, sticking with the coordinator he can trust and building a new franchise up is probably the smartest thing to do. So I think I'm pretty positive he's going to end up in Louisiana.
But if you're looking for a guy that is used to getting like not short end of stick, but most of the comments being negative towards him, and maybe it's he's just a ring chaser. He just wants to go there. Pickler's the guy to absorb those comments and use them against people. That's the thing. Like we saw that with coming to this league, doing all the social media stuff, which was great for the league, and everybody did not like it because nobody likes change, which is ridiculous. But I mean, that's a discussion for a different topic and a different day. But I think this is the guy that would be the capability of absorbing those comments and using it against them. And even if his player doesn't have the greatest thing like he did last season, he would still be fine with it. He'll still flourish.
Yeah, I mean, I think you saw that where he had the pickle six in the first, and he kind of took it and rode with it. So and had a great season. So I mean, wherever he goes, they're going to be instantly a lot better. Fort Worth is a Lone Star that he.
Ooh.
He goes Fort Worth was the fourth team now, which I mean he's got that could be an interesting place, but yeah, I can't get away from Louisiana and Gerald.
All right, final comments before we like pretty much your last word. What's your final word here? Anything and everything. This is your minute to shine.
Are we doing the call outs?
If you want to do call outs, you can. I'm completely down with it.
So mine has to, and I think Jeremy's included in this. The whatever 52% of the owners that voted not to give linebackers and 5 catching. Yeah. we don't catch the ball as linebackers. What's an extra 5 going to do? We're not going to get that many more interceptions. At least give us a chance. I'm tired of seeing balls thrown that hit linebackers right in their chest and they don't catch it. At least give us a chance to catch those.
I'll be sure to pass that clip along to owners next off season.
All right, Jeremy, what's yours?
My final word would just be thank you again to everybody who tuned in. Thank you to Kramer for doing it, Adam for joining us, and just to the league as a whole. Watch out, because Denver's going to be a powerhouse once again. I'm going to make sure of it.
Before I do my comment, Pickler said in the chat, people thought San Francisco was always Montana City. Then there was Steve Young. People thought Green Bay was Favre City. Then there was Rodgers. All right, so that might be a little tease there. But my final word is don't backstab anybody. You know who I'm talking about. And you don't go back on your word and say, you know what, I'm going to do this, but then you end up leaving and you're doing something else. You know who I'm talking about. You probably won't listen to this. You'll never be invited onto a Kramer Jackman show ever again. Just saying. When in doubt, yoga it out. Have a good one. Not off air yet, by the way. I actually have to admit. There we go. End stream. End. Perfect.